So let me at the outset thank Chairperson, Director General and the staff members of SLITA having invited me to come to this all important event of your academic calendar, I would say, at the time of launching of your degree program, bachelor's degree program, after some time. It's indeed a very important milestone of SLITA as well as the Sri Lankan garment industry, which is the biggest export earner for Sri Lanka for some time. So your institution is 13 years old, incorporated in 2009, having amalgamated two institutions which were covering the same subject. So over 13 years, I was made to understand you have produced, you have imparted knowledge to more than 100,000 professionals of the garment industry. As at now, you impart knowledge at different levels, more than 5,000 students annually, starting from certificate courses, diplomas, higher national diplomas, now from 2022 onwards, a degree program. So let me congratulate on behalf of the Ministry of Industries, a job well done. You have done your part, you have molded the Sri Lankan garment industry. With your support, the industry, late Honorable Ranasinghe Premdas has started, it's come to a world standard. We become globally competitive, and as you correctly mentioned, we are now concentrating on more quality garment rather than concentrating on quantity. Obviously, we can't concentrate on quantity because our higher wage structure, Sri Lankan labor coming at a higher cost than most of the other regional countries. So as correctly mentioned, we are concentrating more on niche markets and value addition and creating a global supply chain which is of higher value. So this degree program would further enhance the ability of the Sri Lankan employees at the garment industry and also other related sectors. So let me wish you all the very best, and may you train more Sri Lankan youth to ensure that they are readily employable in the garment industry. Sri Lankan garment industry during last 3-4 decades have recorded at least 10 to 15 year-to-year growth. So it will come to $6 billion export income this year. So I must congratulate all of you, all the stakeholders in the industry, having done wonderfully well, especially during the COVID pandemic. When the whole world was enveloped in that pandemic, our export sector, especially garment sector, performed reasonably well. Even during those difficult times, you have recorded growths. Not only garment sector, but also the plantation sector, we have recorded decent growths during those 2 years. With your contribution, our export income has reached $12 billion, which is not sufficient for us. As Dr. Sunil Jayanta Navanatha correctly mentioned, 6 billion is coming from garment industry. Another nearly 4 billion is coming from Sri Lankan plantation sector, which is 150 years old. So apart from the garment industry, other industrial sectors have not developed in this country. Why is it so? A lot of people do talk about politics and governance of the country for the last 73 years since independence. Since we gained independence in 1948, after 450 years of colonialism, having governed 73 years by democratic means, have you achieved something reasonable for this country? This is the vital question that we need to answer, Doctor. So at the time, since we gained independence, with limited assets we have reasonably invested in Sri Lankan health sector and education sector. We are doing exceedingly well in those two sectors. Sri Lankan health sector, I don't want to dwell on that. Sri Lanka is considered as one of the best countries in the world by World Health Organization, providing best quality healthcare at a very reasonable and lower cost. Our maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, vaccine preventable diseases, I can go on with the list. They are in par with the best countries in the world. In education sector also, we are doing reasonably well. I can give you certain numbers. We had only one university in this country, University of Ceylon, at the time of gaining independence from the Britishers. We have 20 state universities today. Last one was opened in Vavuniya about a year ago. So we have 20 universities in the country. We had only 3,000 schools in the country. We have 10,000 schools in the country. So we have added 7,000 more schools during last 73 years. More importantly, our school enrollment rate was 52%. Out of 100 children born in 1948, only 52 went to the schools. It had gone up to 99%. Apart from the people, students with disabilities, all the others go to the primary grade. Number-wise, we produced only 200 graduates in 1948. We produce nearly 40,000 graduates today. Huge increase in the number. But important factor is, politicians, successive governments, I'm not trying to salvage them at this particular moment, but they have done their bit during last 73 years. We have recorded phenomenal growths in infrastructure, healthcare, education, a lot of other sectors, never mind the economic sector. So, unfortunately, the investment that has gone into the education sector has not paved the way for the Sri Lankan economic sector to develop. Whatever the investment that has gone in, we have produced graduates, 40,000 are coming out every year. Out of that, 25,000 are unemployed. So the successive governments have to certain times provide opportunities en masse. So in 2020, we enrolled 50,000 graduates, those who are unemployed. They are sitting at AG offices, different government departments, without doing anything reasonable. So it's timely that we look at the education sector critically. So Dr. Sunil Navaratna and their team is doing something important. So I was keeping my fingers crossed to launch the new education reforms of the country by 2023 at least, but unfortunately because of the economic constraints that we face and also because of the societal issues, we have to postpone again. We're going to completely reverse and restart the Sri Lankan education system from 2024 at least. So this is timely that we look at Sri Lankan tertiary education system critically. In that regard, I appreciate your degree program would produce graduates, those who are readily employable. That is something very important. Dr. Sunil Navaratna, you mentioned few things about 3 R's and 3 L's. Also, you mentioned Sri Lankan government. Every government has to face the same scenario. We have people and problems. Unfortunately, our government, we don't have people, we only have problems now. So we have a lot of issues to tackle. But on futuristic basis, I'm looking forward that with your efforts, with the efforts of the other academia and learned professionals in this country, there will be a transformation of the Sri Lankan education sector, which is a paramount important thing. And you mentioned it took 73 years for us to come to that per capita income level of $4,000. And you said, jokingly, that it might take another 70 years for us to reach the per capita income of about 12,000 because it's 3 times as much as what we are now today. It's very much different now. We will achieve the status of a developed nation during our lifetime. Don't keep any questions about it. We are going to receive that one, we are going to achieve that one. How are we going to achieve that one is the different question. Why we didn't come to that position for last so many years? Because our children were far behind in relation to reaching the benefits of the first, second and third industrial revolutions. We talk about third industrial revolution which took place in European countries about 100 years ago. That's developing nuclear energy. We have not received that one in Sri Lanka. We might not receive it for next 100 years, nuclear energy. Same thing in relation to telecommunication, electricity, all the other technologies, machinery. Sri Lankan people, and also the Asian people have reached the benefits of first, second and third industrial revolutions nearly 150 years after the world had seen them. But it's very much different in the fourth industrial revolution. All of us know about that. Our students, those who are aged 5 to 10 years, they know about robotics, they know about innovation, they know about automation, they talk about 3D printing, artificial intelligence. The knowledge imparted from the fourth industrial revolution are very much available in Sri Lanka, and our students are learning parallel to the world people. Whatever that is discovered in Wellington this morning has reached Sri Lanka by noon. Whatever that would be discovered in other corner of the world, Ontario, Canada, will be known to Sri Lankan people by tomorrow morning. So that gap is very much sealed now. So Sri Lankan students are in par with the other students of the world in relation to fourth industrial revolution. That knowledge imparted from the fourth industrial revolution will surely take Sri Lanka forward, and our country will surely become a developed nation within our lifetime. So let us do it together. let us do it in relation to that in the garment sector by imparting that knowledge, by helping the sustainable development. So thank you very much again, and I congratulate all of you having invited me, and also for job well done. All the best, SLITA. Thank you.